The auction was supposed to be a joke. In the outer colonies, abandoned military property was sold off every year. Rusted stations, defunct satellites, forgotten depots left behind after wars no one wanted to remember. Most of it was scrap. Most of it was cursed with paperwork so complicated that even scavengers avoided it. So when Elias Mercer saw the listing, Hangar 7B Frontier War Relic Site, minimum bid, $1, he laughed. Elias wasn't a soldier. He was a salvage contractor, a man who made a living pulling forgotten machines from forgotten places. His ship, the Prospector's Wake, was a battered cargo hauler patched together with mismatched alloys and stubborn pride. He assumed Hangar 7B was another bureaucratic mistake. Probably an empty shell with radiation warnings slapped on it. But something in the listing bothered him. Contents: 1 decommissioned vessel. Status: irrecoverable. Restricted access classification expired. Expired classification. That was rare. He bid $1. No one else did. 2 days later, he owned a military hangar that had been sealed for almost 2 centuries. Hangar 7B orbited a dead moon on the edge of human space. The moon had no atmosphere, no water, no history, just rock and dust. The hangar itself was massive, a cylindrical structure attached to the moon's surface like a parasite. When Elias docked, the station lights flickered on automatically. Ancient systems woke with groans and static. Creepy, he muttered. The air inside smelled stale but breathable. Gravity was still functioning, though weaker than standard. His boots echoed as he walked down a long corridor toward the main bay doors. He expected emptiness. Instead he found a ship. It was enormous, larger than modern cruisers, shaped like a jagged spearhead. The hull was scorched, pitted with craters, and covered in symbols he didn't recognize. Massive armor plates were fused together as if melted and reforged in battle. A relic of a war so old most people thought it was myth. Elias whispered, "What the hell are you?" He pulled up historical archives. The ship's silhouette matched a single classified reference. Project Aegis, pre-Union War era. Status: erased from records. His heart raced. Military prototypes were worth fortunes. Even junk prototypes were valuable. He was about to make the greatest salvage score of his life. Then he noticed the chains. The ship wasn't just parked. It was bound. Massive magnetic clamps held it in place. Thick cables ran from its hull into the hangar's walls, connected to reactors that were still humming. Not power. Containment. Middle, the sleeper. Elias spent 3 days exploring the hangar. He found logs, broken terminals, and finally, an intact command console. The last log entry was dated 2147. Commander's log, Project Aegis. The vessel is not the weapon. It is the cage. If anyone finds this place, do not disable the restraints. Do not enter the core. Do not listen to it. That last line chilled him. He should have left. Instead, curiosity drove him forward. Salvagers lived on curiosity. The ship's interior was worse than the outside. Corridors were scorched black, bulkheads warped by internal explosions. Human remains were scattered everywhere, skeletons fused into walls, spacesuits torn open from the inside. Not battle casualties. Something had killed them inside the ship. Elias activated his suit's recorder. Log for Mercer salvage. Project Aegis appears to have experienced catastrophic internal event. Crew did not survive. Hull integrity compromised. But something else is here. He felt it. A vibration, faint but rhythmic like breathing. He followed the sound deeper into the ship, past the bridge, past engineering, until he reached a sealed chamber at the ship's center. A circular vault door marked with warning symbols in every known language. Do not open. Containment Protocol Omega. Threat class, existential. Elias stared at it. Existential. That was a word governments used when they meant galaxy ending. He laughed nervously. Old military paranoia. He bypassed the lock. The door slid open. Inside, the chamber was enormous, filled with machinery arranged in a ring. At the center floated a dark, crystalline mass the size of a shuttle. It wasn't metal. It wasn't organic. It was something between shifting, pulsing with faint violet light. and it was wrapped in energy fields. As Elias stepped closer, the lights brightened. A voice filled his helmet. Finally. He stumbled back. Who said that? I have waited. For so long. The crystal surface rippled. Shapes formed, faces, hands, eyes, none human, none stable. You are not them. You are new. Elias's throat went dry. What are you? The thing paused. I am what your kind named the Sleeper. I am what your kind feared enough to lock away. I am what ended their war before it began. He pulled up his ship's weapon feed. I'm sealing this chamber. No. You will listen. The containment fields flickered. Elias searched archives again. Hidden files surfaced. The pre-Union War. A conflict humanity never officially recorded. They had discovered something ancient in deep space. A being older than stars, drifting between galaxies. It had no physical body at first, just energy and consciousness. It had contacted humanity. It had offered knowledge, technology, power. Humanity tried to control it. So they built a warship around it. A prison disguised as a weapon. Project Aegis. And then they erased everything. Why were you imprisoned? Elias asked. The Sleeper's light pulsed slowly. Your species feared what I showed you. Images flooded his mind. Galaxies colliding. Civilizations rising and falling. Machines swallowing planets. Humans spreading across stars, then vanishing. I showed them their future. They chose blindness. Elias clenched his fists. And what do you want now? Freedom. The word echoed in his skull. For days he debated. Releasing it could make him rich beyond imagination, or destroy everything. He studied the containment systems. They were failing. Power reserves were nearly gone. In a few decades, the Sleeper would escape anyway. Humanity had forgotten it. He hadn't. And now he was the only one who knew. Middle, the choice. Elias contacted the Union Salvage Authority anonymously, hinting at a valuable relic. Their reply was immediate. Do not interfere. Military black site. Unauthorized access punishable by voiding of citizenship. Retrieval teams dispatched. He had two options. Run. Or make history. He looked at the Sleeper. If I release you, what happens? The entity pulsed. I will awaken. I will speak to your people. I will offer them knowledge again. Will you kill them? I do not kill. I reshape. That was not comforting. Union ships arrived in 3 days. Elias stood in the chamber, staring at the control panel. One switch would drop the containment fields. One switch would unleash something that terrified ancient humanity enough to bury it for centuries. He thought of his life, scrap jobs, debt, loneliness. He thought of what he could become. A legend. Or a villain. He flipped the switch. The fields collapsed. The crystal mass expanded, unfolding like a blooming star. Energy surged through the ship. The hangar's lights shattered. The Sleeper's voice boomed through every system. I am awake. Union ships arrived moments later. They fired immediately. Lasers, plasma, antimatter charges. They did nothing. The Sleeper extended tendrils of energy touching the ships. The ships stopped firing. Then they turned. And followed it. Across human space, communication channels lit up. The Sleeper broadcast itself.